Welcome back to the program, the soccer arena, and I want you to fall in love with my show. There's a reason why I put all these world-class players on my wall. So you can go from Ryan Giggs, Mikel Obi, to Okocha, to Maradona, to Waddle, to Zidane, to Roger Miller, to Vieira, and the list goes on and on and on. But there's a reason why. There's a reason why I put so many world-class players on my wall. But because I didn't put some other world-class players on my wall, it's not to say they're not good enough. But then again, I can't fit everybody in, you know. So back to the subject today, which is Okechukwu. There he is, Nigeria's centre-back, Nigeria's most successful centre-back, Okechukwu. They call him the gentle giant. Now, Okechukwu, in my view, from my point of view, or in my perspective, is Nigeria's most successful centre-back. Now, or let me not say Nigeria's most successful centre-back. I'll say Okechukwu is the Super Eagles' most successful centre-back. The reason why I say Okechukwu is the Super Eagles' most successful centre-back is because it's for the simple fact that before the Super Eagles were formed, Nigeria used to have the Green Eagles. And Okechukwu never played for the Green Eagles. So he's the Super Eagles' most successful centre-back. And to prove my point, when Okechukwu was playing for the Super Eagles, they won the Olympics. And as a matter of fact, I just brought up this picture. I mean, I was in the internet cafe today and I found this picture, and this was like Okechukwu against, I think that's against Italy, but that's not really in the Atlanta Olympic Games. But I'm just trying to say that when he was playing for Nigeria, that the Super Eagles were at their most effective. If you look in the background of this picture, somewhere down there, you will see the striker Daniel Amokachi. And yeah, Okechukwu done well for Nigeria. They won the Olympics, and obviously I had to bring out this picture for some reason. What's it called again? You know, a lot of people don't understand that, because when a lot of people, when they see these Nigerian footballers, or when they see these stars all over the world, these English internationals and these European footballers and these Brazilians, you think that suddenly they just put on the shirt. No, but they all had to start from somewhere. And I used to be an Enyimba football club fan, and Okechukwu used to be the centre-back of Enyimba football club in Nigeria. And that's when I began to understand, that's when I began to realize how good a player Uche Okechukwu was. But obviously he played for Enyimba in the mid-80s up until the late 90s. And obviously when you play for Enyimba, because Enyimba is like the Nigerian national #1 league. So you come up against teams like Leventis United, you come up against teams like Raka Rovers, you come up against teams like Calabar Rovers, you come up against teams like Iwanyamu National, Rangers of Enugu, El Kanemi, you name it. But me personally, I could be wrong, but I think it's when Uche Okechukwu was playing for Enyimba FC that he caught the eye of another elite Nigerian team, which is called the Delta Steel. I could be wrong, but I think from Enyimba, he was bought by the Delta Steel FC, or he was bought by the Flash Flamingos. But I wasn't in Nigeria then, because I left Nigeria as a teenager. So I don't know, but my mind, I'm just using my imagination and my memory, and I'm thinking maybe he was bought by the Delta Steel, or he was bought by the Flash Flamingos, and he went on to go and play for another team. He left A&M and he went to go and play for the Flash Flamingos. Let me go with the Flash Flamingos. And it was from the performances that he put in for the Flash Flamingos, which is a big team in Nigeria in the early 90s, that the Super Eagles must have noticed this man's defensive qualities. Because at the time, Nigeria's #1 central defender was Stephen Keshi. But for some reason, Stephen Keshi couldn't do it all by himself. And I think Nigeria needed some new blood. They needed to inject some more pace in the defense. And yeah, Super Eagles came calling for Uche Okechukwu in the early 90s. And from the early 90s, maybe 91 or 92, he started playing for Nigeria. And they qualified for the African Nations Cup, and they won the African Nations Cup. But what stands out for me is, you know, Uche Okechukwu is a defender that played in the heart of the defense for Nigeria. And now, the former Nigerian stadium was at Surulere. The national stadium was at Surulere in Lagos. So sometimes I just picture myself, because I've never watched a live game there, but I just picture myself, Nigeria playing a live game, and they got all these defenders and important players, Okocha and Yekini, striker. But Uche Okechukwu was in the most important part of the team because he stood as a centre-back. So what I'm trying to say is that if a right back gets beaten, there's hope. If a left back gets beaten, there's hope. If a quarterback, is it a quarterback? If he gets beaten, there's hope. But Uche Okechukwu, when he's standing here, he's like standing in the, he's in the heart of the nation. If they beat him, the Echo boys will go crazy in the Surulere Stadium. So to stand there and make sure that no ball goes past him as a central defender, it's a major role. He was playing in the heart of Nigeria's defense. And you know, when you play in Surulere, places like that, the expectation is very high because Nigeria, not only do the fans want you to win, they want you to put on a good performance as well. And Uche Okechukwu is like, before he played for the national team, obviously, the coaches and the managers, they must have studied this game. And they realized that one of his best qualities was the ability to be able to sniff out danger. Sniff out danger. Here, when there's danger, you can sniff out danger. You know, sniff out danger. Like a lot of centre-backs these days, they can't sniff out danger. Another centre-back that can sniff out danger in world football is this man here. Cameraman, come and have a look. This man here. He had that Uche Okechukwu's quality. Rio Ferdinand, he's another man that can sniff out danger. Man United and England, he's wearing number 5 as well. It's funny that he's wearing number 5 and Uche Okechukwu is wearing number 5 as well. So Rio Ferdinand can sniff out danger also. And Uche Okechukwu is a man that he knows how to recover when he's beaten. You know, a lot of centre-backs these days, they just tackle. And when they tackle, they miss the ball and they stay on the floor. No. Uche Okechukwu, when you beat him, you come back. I'm back. I'm the man loves to defend. And I appreciate that. And that's what the fans want to see. And I believe that it was his performances from playing for the Super Eagles that Fenerbahce, a team in Turkey, they came and they bought him. That's the man there, Uche Okechukwu, the gentle giant. That's what they call him. If you don't know about Nigeria's football, if you don't know about world football, Uche Okechukwu, the gentle giant. Yeah, and Turkey came calling. And he played so well for Fenerbahce. And Fenerbahce is actually a team in Turkey. And he played so well for Fenerbahce in Turkey that they even made him, because obviously he was their centre-back, and they made him an ambassador for the football club. I want you to understand that Uche Okechukwu, he silenced a lot of great strikers, because I watched this man's international career. You know, I'm not going to name names, but he played against a lot of great strikers playing for Nigeria. He played a lot against some great strikers, and he silenced them. He would put them in his pocket. He had the ability to play and make those great strikers numb. So they can't do much, you know. So he sniffed out a lot of great strikers on the pitch. You know, what's it called again? When I say Uche Okechukwu is one of Nigeria's greatest defenders ever, I know what I'm talking about because, can you tell me the name of this man? Does anybody know the name of this man? Well, if you don't know the name of this man, he made it onto the soccer arena. This is the great Christian Chukwu. Now, Christian Chukwu was Nigeria's best centre-back throughout the 70s. He played for Rangers International and he played for the Green Eagles, and they won the African Nations Cup in 1980, I think. And they call him the chairman. They call him Chairman Chukwu. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say, where Uche Okechukwu got to in the 90s, it came from somewhere. So it came from Christian Chukwu in the 70s, a great central defender. And then it went on. Christian Chukwu passed it over to Stephen Keshi in the 80s. That's Samuel Okparaji and that's Stephen Keshi and that's Peter Rufai. But Christian Chukwu passed it on to Stephen Keshi in the 80s, and Stephen Keshi, the great Nigerian captain, one of Nigeria's greatest footballers ever, he passed it on to Okechukwu in the 90s, and the Gentle Giant took over. And that's what I'm trying to say. Now, if you look at, I've got a couple of pictures here. If you look at this picture here, this is you can come closer. This is the great Westerhof, Clemens Westerhof. Now Clemens Westerhof was a Dutch manager that managed Nigeria throughout the 1994 World Cup campaign. But his most favorite defender was Uche Okechukwu. That was his favorite defender. He always played him as a centre-back. So sometimes you see Westerhof giving instructions saying, Uche. Yeah, he's giving instructions. He mentioned Uche because he knows that's the most important part of the park. Okechukwu Uche never let Nigeria down. I'm a football fan. I'm a football follower, and Okechukwu Uche never let Nigeria down. The man always put in solid performances, and